the stream. We're gonna boot up the stream. Yeah, we're gonna boot up the stream. Boot it up now, booting up the stream. Don't care if it's seen on Twitch, doesn't really matter. Just gotta get an episode called Tortoise Love. Just gotta get us an episode and we'll call it Tortoise Love. Ain't got no time for tortoise love. I gotta get trucking on. So baby, drop your panties. All right, I'm Dan Cohen. I'm the second son of Tree Hair, the Jewish beast from the east. I don't have any pubes. I think it was part of the rhyme once. Shot calling. I'm balling. If I could, I'd vote for Stalin. That's a throwback. 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. An awful long time. So, we've had two problems with the previous episodes, and as the fearless leader, it is my responsibility to fix it. Now, let's reveal the method behind the madness, right? Obviously, on brand with our perverts of theory, live XXX theory, branding, right? Happen, happening upon two tortoises fucking at the zoo was too good to pass up. Um, in the sense that, of course, we harken back to good old Trier, Germany, very old place, and the old master who was born there by intention and design, uh, claiming that ideological lineage, right? So the idea of those two old decrepit things just banging it out was far too good to pass up. And unfortunately, we had some audio issues with the first two episodes. The first audio issue on the first episode, which has been deleted if you were there, was it sucked. So that's something we need to rectify going forward. The second one is great by our standards. Good conversation was had by all. And of course, 2/3 of the voices could be heard, which is a problem in a conversational uh, medium. So we're stuck on a 1-to-1 now, which is fine because in my time zone it's Sunday, the Lord's Day, the day of rest. So what a better time to go ahead and touch into sin again and surprise attack you all, especially given our intentional branding of fornication, right? And what I want to address is the interpretation of uh, L, the interpretation of God, as we call him, um, Adonai, Yahweh, Jehovah, um, Allah, all these things, right? This central idea of the three predominant faiths that are born out of Judaism, right? So, you have a lot of people trying to claim the mantle of God, and the fun thing about your notions on God, they are informed heavily by your material conditions, which are informed heavily by your politics. Wow, we have a viewer. That's nuts. You should go to bed and go be a healthy person, not an insane person who is making up for past mistakes. But thanks for coming. You feel free to comment if you'd like. There you go. That's right. Get on out of here. Um, so there is an understanding in right-wing politics that Donald Trump is a messianic figure in line with Jesus Christos, Jesus Christ, the son of Adonai, the son of El, Jesus of El, if one were to frame it that way. Uh, the literal, the spawn, the Messiah. And I can tell you those comparisons are very, very goofy, right? The idea of the messianic figure of Trump, he came from, how do I say this politely? He too came from a woman's vagina, but unlike Jesus, he came, Donald Trump came from Fred Trump's balls, which um, is not how Jesus was created, allegedly, right? And he came from the divine creation of Adonai himself. the old master. So seeing him as a messianic figure is silly, right? He can't herald the coming of the eternal kingdom. In that respect, the liberals who have him pegged as some sort of antichrist figure, right? This kind of disgusting pervert that rolls across the earth, branding its subjects and enticing them to all sorts of earthly torment and sin in the face of all sorts of nasty, brutal apocalypses, such as plague and war, the destruction of the earth by the actual fucking sun, right? Soul itself, the creation of God just burning the planet as we industrialized just death and destruction, right? So in that regard, seeing Trump as an anti-messianic figure, a herald of destruction, is the correct interpretation to take if you're so inclined to see him as a messianic figure of any stripe. He would be the anti-Messiah. It's not very hard, right? It's kind of a lazy read, but it bears repeating that in this regard, the liberals would be correct. It heralds the death of America, which for Americans is the death of the South. The more your identity is tied to liberal democratic capitalism, that is the higher class you are, okay, the arrival of Trump heralds destruction and doom. So you should see him as an anti-Messiah because Trump reveals the inherent weaknesses within liberal democratic capitalism. However, there are some who see Trump as sort of a divine presence in and of itself within the MAGA movement beyond the messianic figure. And in this regard, they wouldn't be wrong to call him some sort of prophet of their God, right? If this is who Yadhe is, if we were to tease out the divine will, right? He certainly shares the characteristics if we adopt the MAGA mindset for a second. Trump, too, believes in death from above, right? Raining destruction from the air, be it in the case of Adonai, it's, of course, it's lightning strikes, meteors, brimstone and sulfur, right? Raining death and destruction on a population. Pompeii, the Romans are punished with lava, the eruption from the earth, forced up into the air to land on Pompeii and annihilate them. Of course, Trump was another drone striker, right? He loved his drone strikes. Everybody was giddy and horny within hours of him becoming president, as his memory serves, and it's a little loose. I think it was a couple weeks after he became president, but they were so giddy and horny to inaugurate him as president, to inaugurate him as the God King, or God, when he dropped the mother of all bombs, and they even gave it the name Moab, right? It has very much the sound of something you would see in the Bible. You know, it has that kind of visceral feel. Rehoboam, Moab, etc. You know, so they were, both Adonai and Trump are very giddy to launch death from above, right? The divine hand of God striking down on the masses. Adonai has shown himself to be quite the friend of the rich, right? There's a whole plethora of earth, and he has left it to the whims of the powerful. Furthermore, it kind of misunderstands God's relationship to sin, right? We think of God as perfection. The sin that God often shows, right, is wrath. God is really, when they do the 7 deadly sins, they're always some sort of demon or wrath. Often it's Satan, blah, blah, blah. But Satan is a traitor, right? Lucifer is a traitor. Lucifer is proud. And Satan, if they are different figures in your conception, there's Lucifer, the fallen angel, and there's Satan, the adversary, Satanil, the adversary of God, right? If they're different figures, Satan is deception. Satan is deceit. Satan is the intentional adversary. So they often lump him in with wrath, but if they're the same figure, Lucifer and Satan, then pride's not really where you put him so much as you would put, you'd want to put them more in something like wrath or deception, right? Deception should be its own sin, and deception should be what takes the cake there. Adonai, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you want to call this figure, this mythological figure. I prefer El, frankly. Let's go back. The Hittites. Let's give them their due their deference. The good old Hittites and El, right? El is a proud and wrathful figure. Hell could occupy both those slots in the seven deadly sins, and nothing would change fundamentally because that is what God uh, ultimately is. You know, the conceptions of what His love is essentially is the opportunity to witness torment. Right? A lot of the early Christian thinkers were trying to think about how you occupy eternity in heaven beyond just singing praises to God. There's the pride, and it's getting to watch all the sinners suffer from your lofty, relaxed, comfortable position, right? So it's wrath. You get to unleash your wrath upon them. And in that regard, Donald Trump, that's what he really wanted to do, right? He wanted to sit in a lofty position, sit and suck in hyper reality, his television, while he's sipping his Diet Cokes and his treats. And he wanted to just absorb all the violence and anger and wrath of his supporters, his fervent, ardent worshippers, as they rain down on the other sinners. Yeah, that's right. People keep jumping in and out, and you should, because this is some heavy shit right here. This is what happens when you apply a little bit of dialectics and theology to the political landscape and start analyzing it. Right? So Trump takes on, in this regard, he takes on a figure very much like Adonai. The way he preferred to stand was a lot of people would say was like a fascist. You know, I have to be at the top. I have to look angry. I have to look tough. I have to look pissed. What do you think Adonai would do? Right? You think he would come looking tepid and weak like Grandpa sitting on his front porch, yelling at kids, "Get off of my heaven! Get outside my gates! Don't you leave the dog do there!" No, that's not going to be Adonai. Adonai is going to be at the front of the pack, screaming and demanding blood. So that's what Adonai does, right? At least in their worldview. So it's a very little surprise that these folks conceptualize him as a Messiah. They're wrong. Again, the correct, if he's a messianic figure, um, it's correct to assume he's an anti-Messiah. But just in the same way, the Messiah, yeah, property taxes for heaven. That's right. By the way, co-host, if you're free to jump on, feel free to and save me from this misery. But otherwise, I'll carry this one myself. 2 fuck-ups on the audio side on my fault equals Dan doing overtime. But if you want to save me, feel free to jump in and do so. But, again, if we conceive of Trump as the God King, the God Pharaoh, the overlord of it all, then there's really nothing different between him and Adonai, right? He is crafted in God's image. He offers himself up more as a prophet of God in the misery to come for the sinful humanity and the devil looming all over the earth, right? And in that respect, then the evangelicals are thinking entirely correct, right? I should just stay the course. I should rollick in sin because God permits me to sin. I won't be one of the ones who are suffering. You have a you have a lot of them comparing him. I love the memes where it's like, God, Trump was sent here by the devil. Lucifer is kind of one of those people who likes to really get down and dirty, right? That's the conception there is that the devil's kind of a vague word. Let's separate those two concepts as Sataniel, or Satan, and let's separate them as Lucifer, right? And for the second, let's assume they're not the same thing. So the devil would be Sataniel, the adversary of God, whereas Lucifer would be the fallen angel, the betrayer of God, right? And in those scenarios, Lucifer was down and dirty in that fight, so the book goes, and God is asked cast out. If he's cast into hell, if we presume that Lucifer is cast into hell, right? Lucifer can't really send anybody. The punishment is absolute. He's removed from God's love. He's outside of God's purview. He's no longer part of the kingdom. His punishment is absolute and complete, and it can't be Lucifer. But Sataniel, the adversary of God, or Satan, the adversary, the vague notion of the adversary, was cast onto the earth to roam the earth. This is his domain, and his purpose is to further the torments from the original sin, right? That's our permanent punishment, is this creature that stalks the earth and tempts us into sin and torments. Not an entirely effective
I don't know how much help I can be on the religion stuff.
Oh, that's okay. I'll ditch it here in a moment then if you're coming to rescue my ass from my insane midnight ramblings.
From internal damnation.
From my internal damnation. Um, So I'll finish out my ramblings and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of Tortoise Love, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in this in this sense, then, if Satan is no more or less capable of torment, deviling us with sins like depression, deviling us with sins like the capacity of lies, be them by omission or by direct obfuscation of the truth or fabrication of the truth. If he's able to entice us into wrath and lust and greed and gluttony and so on, right? Then he can't really send an agent to work on his behalf. This concept, it's a very pretty notion to think of the devil as having the capacity to raise an army against God of his own, right? Or Lucifer carrying the army with him to hell, and we'll break out of jail and we're going to go get God and blah, blah, blah. And of course, that's Revelations, right? The fallen angels return for round two, and the earth is rent asunder in the bullshit because apparently that thing that God loved so much that he got mad at us for eating fruit on and fucking up with his model train set is going to be eviscerated in a sea of blood because we ruined it. So now he's got to take a hammer to his train set. Yet again, God is uh, readily proving himself to be a wrathful, prideful thing. The minute you fuck my thing up, I have to destroy the whole thing, right? But we have this romantic notion of this war on Earth, this Cold War on Earth, right? We have this notion of a Cold War on Earth, and these agents from both teams are playing, are playing cloak and dagger spy against each other here, scoring points, and there not. Why in the fuck do you think, in any kind of capacity, that Adonai does not hold all of the cards here? What do you think of an absolute God? This isn't Zoroaster and his enemy, right? This isn't Zoroaster and his enemy, which is what this is all based on, and what you're all hearkening back to is pre-Christendom, pre-Judaism, right? Not even within the Hittite family. You're talking about a different God where there is a tangible war. You're not talking about Allah versus Iblis or Ibis or whatever the fuck the devil's name is. You're not talking about Allah versus Shaitan. You're not talking about Yahweh versus some sort of angelic opposition. Adonai holds all the cards. And in that sense, then, we can still conceive of Trump as an avatar or a prophet of God, right? The living embodiment of it. And he's a living embodiment of the God we all have, the ideology that's in our hearts, that which we are born with and created with. It's capitalism. Right? That's all Trump is. He's a prophet of capitalism. This is the capricious nature of capitalism revealing itself. There's nothing divine going on here, obviously. The MAGAs and the libs they love to make these big battles or what have you and really trump this bullshit up. There's this fucking fantastical Cold War going on all around us between good and evil. But at the end of the day, Trump is no more or less an avatar or prophet of the invisible hand of the capitalism. Adonai is long dead, my friends. The Messiah is over. We're past the Messiah now. There's no going back. There is a new God in town, and that new God is all pervasive. All it touches turns to shit and crises, because it is shit and crises. It is violence. It is abhorrent fucking violence. It is profit acquisition. It is every sin you can think of amplified, right? All the consumptive sins are consumerism, and all those sins of hierarchy are the fucking ruling class. It's capitalism. You're fucking mad at capitalism. You'll feel so much better to say it. And in that regard, Trump is no more or less than a prophet of capitalism or an avatar of capitalism. He's just very good at it. That's what you're all mad at. So with that said, I'd like to introduce my co-host here, Michael Jordan Peterson, who's coming to save my ass from my own repeat failures. Mr. Michael Jordan Peterson, how are we this evening?
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yeah, sweet.
My girlfriend got COVID. That's fun.
I'm sorry to hear that. How
Mm.
is it like COVID, like, shit, she's sick and it's the big one, but it's not like a bad case, or is it like the big one?
Yet to see. We do not know yet.
Well, I wish
Just
you
getting symptoms, so
fuck
fuck the CDC. Just gotta throw that out there.
Yeah, isn't it great now that the libs are all vaccinated that suddenly the CDC is like, yeah, you could probably just hug and kiss each other.
Yeah, just Test positive and go on into school.
Yeah, good luck. Is it?
Have fun, guys.
I don't want to pry too much. Obviously, that's your personal life, and we are live versus non-live. Does she work in a school?
No, but close enough. She does work with children.
Ah, yeah, the little death
Where do
traps.
you think they got? Where do you think she got it?
Yeah, well, that's one of the most common ways. Those carriers. You know,
Kids got me. Kids got me the first time. I'm
yeah.
staying far away from fucking kids.
Both of my times were my children, and they're
They're the canary in the coal mine here.
yeah. It's that wonderful combination of disregard for the rules and close physical contact. Actually, it's a trifecta, right? Because the third thing is, of course, piss poor hygiene from children.
Yeah, just fucking disgusting.
Yeah, you know, whites
My
were
little angel. No, your little angel is a fucking animal.
yeah. Yeah, they're both. You know, if you think about the biblical interpretation of angels, right, they're these multi-eyed fucking horrors in service the
Your
Yahweh.
mind can barely comprehend them.
Yeah, without going insane. Love. Everyone credits Lovecraft with cosmic horror, and I think whoever wrote the Bible, right, should be pissed. They're dead.
I
They should be
mean,
dead.
they credit him as making it a popular genre. The
Um,
Bible is popular, but not in that way.
yeah. Well, again, if you're an atheist, it's a very popular genre of fiction, right? I think there's truth to it enough that I might not be considered an atheist anymore, but
Oh,
yeah.
sorry to hear it.
I don't feel bad about it. I feel better about it, to be very frank. You
I
know,
can't do it. I can't do it.
there is ground to win on earth and heaven, my friend. Let me put it
Yeah,
this way.
fuck all that noise.
You can conceive of it and admit it's there, but like your ultimate end goal, if we follow our libertarian roots, what do we have to do? What's our job, right? What do we got to do?
Your libertarian roots.
You have libertarian roots too, my friend. You were born here just the same. Don't even deny them.
I am distancing myself from any roots.
Oh, you don't get to deny where you were born. You can move past it, but you can't deny it.
That's a slave god. I don't fuck with that.
That's
It's a slaver's god.
I got bad news for you, my friend. Capitalism's all around you. You were born into it too. It's our mutual rights
Yeah,
there.
fuck it. Fuck that god.
But again,
Terrible fucking god. Worst god ever.
Worst god ever. I don't know about worst god ever. Wasn't there one that eats shit?
That's better than capitalism. Capitalism will be out the door like, we got that shit 5 for 10. Eat all you want. We got the deals.
Now, I am thoroughly convinced we as leftists need to have a revolutionary theology. And it starts something like this. If we accept all of that shit as true, right, that there's a kingdom of heaven, then it becomes our ultimate project once we take the kingdom of earth and redistribute it. We're going to have to do it there, too.
I need my money.
I got to get paid.
Sir, you're dividing up heaven.
Yeah, that's correct. I want my fair share of heaven. I did work on this earth with these 2 hands, and I'll have my piece.
Yeah, just give me half for it.
Yeah. Just... Nobody said God couldn't keep his part of heaven, too, but I'm going to need mine. Yeah. So, we need a little disorder and revolution in heaven as well, and we need a disorder and revolution on earth. We need to, this system is bad. We need to overthrow it. You take it how you will. You know what? Whatever sense the word. You think if I'm being symbolic, sure, I'm being symbolic. You interpret that how you will. I'm going to practice speaking in religious terms for a moment. Right? So however you interpret it, overthrow the system, is what I meant. Is it non-violently? Sure is. Violently? Maybe. Symbolically? Sure. Materially? Sure. However you want to interpret it.
By whatever means possible.
By whatever means... Yeah. Whatever means available might be the better way to phrase it.
Let me out. Let me out.
Yeah.
Let me out.
That's I'll tell you what. You know how people always say like we're gonna overthrow the system by any means necessary, right?
Yeah, see, I'm not the person. I'm not the person you want to start with the religious shit because if I just had a conversation with a friend here, and he's like, "Well, if okay, so if we accept the premise that God is real, and
Sure.
and and just play devil's advocate, and you get to be religious here," and I'm like, "Then God's evil. Fuck it. That's an evil ass God. Don't trust him." He's like,
And
"Whoa, whoa, whoa."
you shouldn't trust Adonai. Adonai is dead. There's no point in trusting in a dead God. The God we have is capitalism. You definitely
Mhm.
shouldn't
Mhm.
trust that God, right?
Definitely shouldn't trust capitalism.
No, you should not. That's the only thing.
Sacrifice us to the altar of the Rona.
Yeah, that's the only thing John Brown got wrong. He was praying to a dead God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he's from his time.
Sure, he had to understand the world in his own way. I understand that. That's the only thing. Like I said, it's the only thing objectively that he got wrong. Everything else he did 100% right. White
He did
man's
great.
goat.
I was proud of him.
Yep. He gets a seat at the table. And the nice thing is like every white guy's like, do I
He
get to
gets
say the
invited to the
word?
barbecue.
Yeah. Every other white man's like, do I get to say the word? He wouldn't say the word anyway. In fact, he would throw. You'd be if you were throwing that
He
word
would
around, he'd be
he would
catching
throw a brick
hands.
at you. He would throw a brick at you for trying to say it.
Yeah, he'd be catching hands. You'd be trying to say that word as a white dude, and he'd be catching some John Brown hands. He'd be the first one to do it.
He's the crazy white guy hanging out with the big group of black people.
Yeah, and literally though, yes. Him and that who was that one soldier from the South who was like, yeah, I defect. Me and my hot black wife are gonna go out in the woods and we're gonna shoot at Confederate troops.
My dude.
Yeah, again, there were a couple. I'm not saying like the thing is like you have to conflate like good examples of white people versus whites overall. Sure, I have plenty of good white people. The problem is the whole, as a meta study. I'm sure that guy Dan Price, who pays like his janitor $70,000 a year, is actually a nice guy and means well. In this system, he's the one of the greats. Counterpoint, he's still a billionaire. He's still white. He still fundamentally misunderstands the need.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
But
again,
what's wrong if I extract all the capital of everything until it's a shallow husk of what it once was?
yeah, what is
That's
wrong with
my
that?
right as a rich person.
Right. So, like, again, there are things that have to change. He's not one of the great whites. He wants to be, but until he's leading a people's army, until he's attacking Harper's Ferry, he ain't doing it.
You and what army?
It's
Oh,
funny.
that's a good army. The People's
Yeah.
Army?
Oh shit, it's a people's army. God damn it, they're taking to the woods. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I just want to point out no matter what ideology acts that way, like fascism can't. Fascism has to hold the cities. Fascism has to have the long, protracted trench wars. You look at the Chinese communists. You look at the Vietnamese communists. You look at the fucking theocratic fascists in the Arabic states, right? All of them took to the rural lands. They all still standing.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way to fight a war against capitalists. They're very obsessed with having the city because they believe the urban is the resource. No, it's nature, dumbass. Concrete does not turn very well into fucking paper or bullets. Fucking morons. So
But
yeah,
they'll try. They'll try.
and they'll do it, and they'll level that goddamn city they take because they view that as an opportunity to develop capital afterwards. But as we found out, no, you can just get the American army to back the fuck off by simply running into the woods. They're like, son of a bitch. Son of a, son of a bitch bastard. Goddamn fuck. This again? How many times we gotta lose in the woods? Terrible, terrible map. 0 out of 10. Don't like. Begging Bungie to remove it from rotation because it's a bad map. Now, these shooting angles are all wrong. They all benefit the other team. Blah, blah, blah.
Shooting angles are all wrong. A minor inconvenience. Our very expensive tanks can't climb this hill.
Yeah.
This slight pile of rocks.
They do really well on roads. Why can't we just keep? Why won't you fight us on roads where we have the
I
advantage?
love how they're always like, this will be a real short, a real precise war. We'll just go in real quick, take what we want, and leave, and it'll be over in like 5 minutes.
In and out, in and out. That's it. The military's plan is often just like it's like they've been spending up like get coked up and watching heist movies before they pitch this.
I feel like it's more they just immediately defer to the sales department,
Yeah,
and it's like a telemarketer for like Time Warner or some shit. See, you're gonna
they
have to
really do.
save on your protection plan. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta make a bundle of it to save.
Have you tried leveling a city? Yeah, we tried leveling like 9 cities, and there's
Have you tried killing all the civilians,
if you aim to the
women
civilians.
and children?
Well, we're really good at shooting women and children, but that's not helping us. We keep getting shot at and bombed.
Just a little bit of rape is a treat.
No, we did that. We definitely did that, but we're still getting shot at. I would like to speak to your manager about why this isn't working. You don't seem to be able to advise me
The
properly.
military carrots.
Yeah, that's certainly how Iraq and Afghanistan went, right? Like they just kind of got carried out. Vietnam went somewhat similar. Because for all the marketing hype they got pitched, you know what I mean? Like the
I
American
feel
people
so
got
bad for
pitched.
all the soldiers who went out there thinking, they was doing a good thing,
Yeah,
and they get there and find the awful truth.
there's an interview with a Vietnam vet who's like, I expected to go to Vietnam and the civilians were gonna love me. It was gonna be a great time.
It's gonna be a walk in the park. It's gonna be a real short war.
Yeah, and then
He's gonna
everywhere I
walk
went,
in, bada bing, bada bam, we done, we good.
well, then they'd send me off to raid these villages, and we'd be burning their houses down. And I was like, it didn't take me long to figure out these people fucking hate me. You know, they kind of should, right? Like, I was like, that is the most honest soldier I've ever heard talk. He's not talking about fucking.
They don't let those soldiers talk anymore.
No, they really don't. It's kind of sad because like, if you'd have shown a lot of kids that when they joined the army, I bet a lot of them would be like, I want a desk job.
Well, they don't now they see it now,
Yeah, they're seeing it now, but we have a new generation of kids who aren't
and
exposed to
then they're
that
just
shit.
like, oh yeah, let's just lower the bar a little bit more. It's fine.
Yeah, get the
Get
dumber
those
ones.
numbers up.
Get the dumber ones. Get them poorer and dumber. Yeah, they'll be shittier at their job, but you won't have to pay them as much.
We're gonna put the guys with severe traumatic brain injuries in there.
Yeah,
It'll be all right.
but for real
Give them
though.
the nuclear option.
Yeah. Holy shit. Speaking of the nuclear option, man, how do you feel about Trump potentially stealing the nuclear codes to sell off?
I mean, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, really, what are they gonna do? If even if he did, I mean, he probably did. I mean, he's that's what he does. He's doing what he does.
Yeah, if you're rating him for evidence on the nuclear program that he's taken out of the
None of
field,
this is surprising.
yeah. I don't know. Part of me says like if he was selling how to build those bombs to different countries,
All this is really about is they're trying to invalidate him from the next election because they know they have a good chance of getting their ass washed.
well, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs from prison and wins.
Yeah.
And what are
Is
they going to
that
do
can they
then?
do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would be his style.
What? Well, what? Why wouldn't he? What's the opportunity cost?
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
You know, he could
Or
fundraise all
just
day
put
and
it,
still get
or
burned.
just stick his hand up Beto's ass and just use him as a puppet.
You think Beto? You think Beto's going to go MAGA? I don't.
Uh,
I don't think he's going MAGA. I think he's trying to
I mean,
play the Trump.
I can see him very easily pulling a Tulsi.
I don't think he will. I think he's too indebted into the liberal anti-gun, like the single issue anti-gun voter world. Like
Yeah,
that
we know single issue voters are brain dead.
single issue voters are the most brain dead voters, no matter the topic, no matter their position on the topic. Brain dead fucking voters. I don't mean that
This
as
is
a
fact.
Yeah, and by the way, we do not in any way mean that as a slur to the disabled. We mean they are literally equivalent to the dead. They don't think.
Yeah, yeah, or a slur to the actual dead.
Yeah,
Much respect to the dead. They lived and they died.
well, certain dead, like the Chinese communists. Much respect.
No respect to single issue voters.
Yeah, no respect to single issue voters because they're man children. They're not
Negative respect. Actually, we're gonna take some respect back.
good.
They're in debt. They're in debt for the respect that they owe us back from
Yeah,
having to try to consider them as a respectful person.
yeah, they owe a lot of deference to people who play the long view in their analysis. Even if they're wrong, mind you, even if your analysis is wrong, at least you tried to analyze, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I'd say this, but even some dipshit like Malcolm Gladwell has a better political and analytical grasp on the world than a single issue voter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at least he's making an effort. He's fucking wrong. He's a fucking hypocrite on every fucking term for profit, right? But at least like when he analyzes the world as a sociologist, he's still, for being wrong, he really tries to make an effort.
It's like just the height of reducing the most complicated things to the most simple.
Yeah, which is something we're often accused of. The Hegelians, the Marxists, we're the oversimplifiers. Fucking morons.
Well, their words don't make any sense.
Yeah.
They'll say that, and at the same time, look at our memes with a billion fucking words all over the place, and then their eyes gloss over, and they start foaming at the mouth, collapsing on the floor from how complicated it looks.
Yeah. The shit comes flying out of the mouth, and it just. Oh,
no disrespect to people with rabies. Definite disrespect to single issue voters.
Fact. Yeah, the rabid have a real plight. They're on their deathbed just by existing. But single issue voters, you're making an active choice to be that fucking ignorant. Cannot say it enough. If you're a single issue voter, if you're primarily motivated by one issue for or against, you're basically a dog. And like,
I'd put it a little lower.
yeah,
I'd put it at about a 3-year-old. Dogs are at least 6, 7-year-old level. I'd put it a little low, like half a dog, a little dog.
Bull,
a baby dog.
Hold on, I'm calling it a slur. 3-year-olds now. 3-year-olds are far smarter than dogs.
That's no. They still don't have object permanence.
Let me be absolutely clear here. All right. When I say that, what I mean is they should be protected by animal rights laws and denied the right to vote. Can't abuse them. Can't kill them.
Okay. I would agree.
Yeah. So when I say that, I'm not talking about their intelligence per se. More, I'm talking about what kind of rights they should have in society. They can't be abused. Perhaps they can.
Oh yeah, they should definitely be muzzled, spayed, and neutered, and stuck in a cage somewhere, and ignored. Definitely.
Yeah.
You catch a stray out in the street, you gotta take it, put it away.
Yeah, that's right, folks. That's one of our messages for tonight. Spay and neuter your single issue voters. That's going to be a tagline for an episode.
Fucking single issue voter. Get away from the window. Get away from the fucking window. Get away from the window. Fucking everything.
Jesus Christ, that's it. No, god damn it, don't piss on the floor, son of a bitch.
Oh, just all over the fuck. I just cleaned this fucking floor.
You want some brunch? You want some brunch? We'll take you if you're a good boy, you're a good boy, you're a good boy. We'll take you to the shooting range, good boy. Yeah, good boy. Fucking like I said.
Come on, old Yeller. It's time to go outside.
At some point.
We was on topic the second time. What happened in the second recording?
Basically 2/3 of the audio was muted. So there are just these long gaps. Uh-huh.
2/3 of the audio. So you heard nobody except you, maybe.
No, 2/3. excuse me, 2/3 of the audio was present, 1/3 named Dan Cohen was not present. So there's these huge gaps.
Wow.
Yeah, how's that for a fucking producer?
Technical issues abound.
Technical issues of fucking bound with my sound. This is what happens when I prepare for the show 30
Dang.
minutes beforehand.
It was a good episode too. We had a good one.
It was pretty good. I
I
mean,
have to get.
it's all right. We'll just rehash it for another week.
Yeah. We stick that in the back burner.
Oh,
It's pretty evergreen. I agree.
fuck yeah.
Just spaying and neutering your single issue voters.
Yes. Bob Barker would approve that message, so we're in the right. That's what he was talking about when he was talking about cats and dogs. You know what I mean? Men are cats, women are dogs. That kind of dumb bullshit. He was doing one of these big long cons. He meant single issue voters.
Mm.
We should have listened. We should have listened to Bob Barker.
Come on down.
Yeah.
Do. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff. So where are we gonna segue completely unsmoothly this time?
I don't know. You know, we got what? We got half an hour to fill. You can hear me clickety clacking away.
Click clack, click
Yeah.
clack. Half hour to fill. Okay, let me see what else we got.
I'm
What
telling
was
you right
big
now, with that spay
today?
and neuter your single issue voters, I'm about to get some major fucking heat. 19 minutes to fill. We can do this.
A major heat. Why?
Because the libs have shown up and don't understand I'm also talking about a subsect of them.
Oh, it's the single issue voters that don't think they're talking about them. This is the opposite. I bet you think this song is about you. This song is
Yeah.
definitely about you.
I bet you think this song ain't about you. No, it really is.
It's definitely about you. You and only you. No one else. Hmm. But we're the reasonable people. The reasonable in the rooms.
Are you reasonable? Is that a reasonable thing to do? That's like when my dog gets really fucking mad. Well, he used to, and he would get only focused on eating. You know what I mean? All he wanted was treats, and nothing else mattered. It didn't matter that he just took a piss in the living room, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't give a shit about any of that. That was a me problem that he just took a piss everywhere after I left him out for 30 straight fucking minutes.
You had chewed up everything in the goddamn living room,
Oh,
and then you had the call to expect some treats.
and the scratches. I mean, look, I miss that dog, but there are things I don't fucking miss. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There are some things I wouldn't care to repeat if given the opportunity, and that's up there.
I
So,
really hate when people don't train their pets.
well, we got him as a rescue. We got
Mm.
him as like a 10-year-old rescue. So, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. You know what the problem is? I didn't have any opportunity to train him. By the time we got him, he was done. He had his personality.
Right.
He was
10-year-old. That's what, seven dog years. It's like 70.
something like that. Yeah. Try telling a 70-year-old man not to piss on the floor. See how far you get. It's like their favorite thing.
I built the floor, then I'm pissing off. Fuck you, you little fucking crumb snatcher.
Yeah. I've been pissing on floors for the past 63 years. You think I'm giving it up now for you, you filthy commie? That's the only thing I didn't like about my dog. He would spend a lot of time doing anti-communist rants.
Oh, very McCarthy type dog.
Yeah, we got him from the son of Joseph McCarthy, apparently.
Oh, yeller journalism.
I do support rescuing the animals, right? I do support doing that and giving them a loving home. You know what I don't support? Raising your dog to be an anti-communist. That should be his floor too. He
It should
should
go
not
without
want to be on that
saying.
floor. Yeah. Well, I feel, in this country, I feel like you kind of have to, because don't raise your dog to be a libertarian if you don't want your dog to shit everywhere. Because his body, his
But
choice.
I have a contract that I'm allowed to shit everywhere.
Yeah, I signed a contract, sir. Excuse me. Excuse
It
me.
wasn't written. It was a spoken contract, but
It was verbal and implied. It's an implied contract with your customers that I get to shit on the floor.
shit off the floor.
Shitting on the floor.
Wow, wow, wow.
This dog is shitting on the floor. Shitting on the floor, boss. I'm just shitting on the floor. I'm a dog and I'm shitting on the floor. You watch. We're gonna get. Yeah, that's a song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Knowing our fucking luck, that's a song, and that's gonna get us a copyright strike.
Oh, that was too
You,
close to shitting on the floor by
R. Kelly,
Florpus and the Flobas, some
Florence and
indie band.
Florence and the Machines shitting on the floor.
That
Damn, that's a weird
was a
song
very
title.
suspicious melody you used, sir.
How in the fuck were we supposed to know that Florence and the Machine had a song called "Shitting on the Floor"? That's not fair. That's not fair to us. What did we do?
Back in my day, you just shat on the floor. You didn't have a copyright strike about it.
Yeah, make all this hubbub about it.
What's
Yeah,
he doing over there? He's just shitting on the floor,
just,
my dude.
just shitting on the floor, taking a shit on the floor.
Oh, Randy Newman shitting on the floor song.
And I knew a man, he was shitting on the floor. He was short, and I didn't want him to live no more. That's Randy Newman.
Shitting on the floor.
Shitting on the floor. This got weird. This got weird.
Well, we was serious last time. We was going into it. This time we used all our juice. This is the third one.
We did.
That's what happens when we're on the third one.
Yeah, we got pretty serious. I think we've touched on a wide array of topics so far.
We got to recharge.
You do got to recharge your batteries. We did spend all of our fucking good energy really late at night
On nothing.
on absolutely nothing. Dan Cohen back at it again, fucking up the audio. You know what, though? Sometimes it's nice to return to the old hits, right? Sometimes it's nice to play one of the old songs like Jesus Christ, Dan fucked up the audio again. That's a classic track, right?
The most classic.
It's our most classic track. Yeah, so, sometimes it feels comforting to hear those songs. A little bit of nostalgia isn't the worst thing in the world. That's all I'm saying.
Reminds me of the good old days.
It reminds me of the days.
Back when men were men and women were women. And Dan fucked up the track.
And Dan fucked up the track again. Here come Dan Cohen right around the track again. He fucking up that track again. Mm-hmm. Did you hear about that boy Dan Cohen? He's fucking up that track again.
Correction, it was actually a James Brown song.
Ah, fuck. Well, I wouldn't want to besmirch James Brown. Although, fuck his copyright. How about that?
It's like those people trying to copyright Happy Birthday.
Yeah, that. It's a lot
What do
of
you mean I
shit.
can't sing Happy Birthday on a stream? You
Isn't
heard me, it's copyrighted.
Isn't that fucking crazy? That is a fucking insane shit. You can't sing Happy Birthday.
I was thrown for a loop when we got a copyright strike on the Soviet national anthem sung by a lolly. That was really ridiculous.
Yeah. I feel like that lolly does not fucking own that.
No, I feel like they wouldn't have got the money either. It was a small ass account from a random person who just happened to be from like an Eastern Bloc country.
Yeah, it's real fucking bizarre. Facebook is capricious as fuck.
It is. It is.
You know,
They'll
that's
like
it's a huge
they'll like
country.
sell all your data to the freaking military, but won't even give you a reach around.
Will not give you the reach around. They are a nasty one-track lover.
I mean, please don't cancel us. We'll be nice sometimes, maybe. I don't
No,
know. Probably not.
you know what? Fuck them. They want our praise. Earn it. You gotta earn your goddamn respect. You want goddamn respect, you're gonna earn it. Oh shit, my cats are about to fight.
Cat fight.
We're about to have a goddamn cat fight. Hey, hey! I don't have anything to throw. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Rebuttal's always too far when they start to decide to act up.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing too. I want to make this very clear. I'm not throwing it at them. I'm throwing it in the room to try to scare them into not fighting. So, you know,
Yeah, that's how you do it.
yeah. Hey,
Just to show them you mean business.
that got him. Paperclip.
A paperclip.
A paperclip. Dude, the one cat is a total wussy.
Yeah. The fuck is that? A paperclip falling from the? Nah, I'm good on that.
I just lifted a basket to throw in the room, and she's like, "Oh fuck this, I'm out. None about this shit is worth it. No, 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 no. This ain't going down.
No, no, no. I don't like the look of this.
None of this shit is right." I am not saying throw things at. I want to re-stress that several times because I feel like this is when the libs are like, "We got these bastards. They're throwing things at cats." You throw things in the room to startle the cats to break up the potential fight. You do not hit the animals.
Is this our cat gate?
Yeah, well, I'm heading off in the past because the full recording will show that in context, I did not say you should throw things at your
Nah.
animals.
See, that's where you're messing up. You know they'll always take it out of context.
I know they will, but then I can just play the recording and be like, respond. Yeah, I'm not doing this because they're going to act in good faith. I'm doing this because then the people who are acting in good faith will go, "Oh, you did this completely out of context. This isn't really the thing you say it is, so I don't have to care about it." And that way I'm not canceled for the fourth time.
Collecting all the cancel badges, like gym badges.
Dude, I am though, for real, for real.
I
I
wanna
to
be
be
the
fair,
very best.
at being canceled, bump, 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 for nothing
Da-da.
but good reasons by utter fucking bastards. Down. Dude, I've only been canceled by pieces of shit.
Yeah, no one cares if they're canceled by a piece of shit. I feel like that like they don't understand that, but they should.
Yeah. Oh no, you mean this fucking awful person will not be talking to me anymore? No. No, but how will I be forced to talk to you then, against my will?
They'd be so serious about it too. Get wrecked, nerd. Yeah, fucking cut. You're canceled.
Me, an utter piece of shit, has told other pieces
Oh
of shit to
no,
ignore
you
you.
mean I won't be able to go into a right wing space? Oh, that's such a loss.
Oh, you mean I won't be able to get called not a real Jew by a bunch of white women in Canada? Oh no.
Oh, you mean I can not have to worry about the N bomb coming at me?
Oh no, how
Oh
terrible.
no,
My life will be marginally better.
my life is over.
You're gonna make my life better by ignoring me. Oh no. No. Don't. Have you done it yet?
My incredibly online weirdos are not my friends. What? No.
Yeah. That'll get us a mute right there. I guarantee you.
Which one?
That little burst of Devo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll be like, somebody that sounded vaguely like a copyrighted thing that Devo did 20 years ago. That
Doot,
you did
doot,
as a
doot.
nervous tick.
That's it. You get 3 notes. Doot, doot, doot. Nope, nope. Can't be construed as anything.
Bop, bop, bop. That right there. That was
That's copyrighted by Windows.
It's copyrighted by Windows. You're done for, you son of a bitch. Guess you're done fucking for.
Algorithmically, you are
Algorithm.
canceled.
Algorithm cancels you. Robot cancels you. Robot takes away your ability to post shit posts on Facebook. The robot is coming for you.
I love how telling it like it is for them is always just slurs.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Isn't that like a weird thing? I'm just telling it like it
He
is.
tells it like it is. He's so respectable, so presidential.
I just said, all I said was, Boops need to go back to Boopfrica, and suddenly I'm the bad guy for telling it like it is. I don't know why I associated Jesse Ventura voice with that.
Yeah, that's very odd.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun though. Doesn't it sound? It sounds funny. What if that was Jesse Ventura's thing? Sorry. He did play a homophobe in that one movie.
First ill.
Ew. He did play a homophobe in Predator who got lit the fuck up.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the '80s. They was all pretty homoerotic to begin with.
Yeah, homoerotic homophobes. Very weird time.
Very, very weird.
Touch my nipples, boop.
I'm such a manly man. Let me take off my shirt and show off my oiled pecs.
Yeah. I'm such a strong heterosexual male. We should get naked and wrestle and touch parts.
Just rub each other.
What? You're gay for not rubbing my balls right now.
I'm so straight. I'm gonna rub my gun on you.
I'm gonna rub my penis on you, but not in a gay way. So don't read too much into this, Nancy.
Long before there was the phrase "no homo."
Yeah. Well, no homo, like ideologically, is the succession of that, right? It's the next thing.
It is. That's why it's a very direct line.
It is. It's not gay if guys, if guys kiss each other and make love to support each other, financially.
While rubbing each other's nipples.
Yeah. Stop calling me that. Like, oh man, that's what people don't understand. Like, they'll be like, you can't say that this person was in the closet, right? And like, all right, I guess, but the counterpoint is like, isn't part of the premise they all start there? And number two, like, they get real mad if you say like closeted people are really destructive, but like, I submit to you the 80s. How many closeted homosexuals in the 80s got other gay people killed by being like, yes, Dr. Fauci, I'm certainly not doing that.
All I'm saying is that not everything is out in the open for that person.
Yeah. If you can't live honestly, you're living sick. And if you're living sick, you're going to make a lot of fucking awful decisions. That's why part of what we, how many times have we got to bang this goddamn drum? That's why we have to be honest, right? And we have to make sure that other people can live honestly. How hard is this?
Rock hard.
Rock hard. But, the people, to be fair also, the people who tend to say that are the people who think identity and abstract ideals overtrump material conditions in every scenario. So, like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, and people never, ever change identities. And...
Yeah.
And your socioeconomic status is all there is and all there will ever be to you as a human being.
Yeah. And we now, and now keep in mind, we live in an era where overwhelmingly, like, the mechanical problems with, like, having an irreconcilable conflict between your body and your mind can be overcome, right? We can get rid of that identity crisis problem that afflicts so many people. We can do things to fix it. We have the machinery to fix all sorts of identity crises. In the from in the trans sense, we can reconcile those two conflicts, right? We couldn't do that before in the same way we can now. But we can do that with all sorts of things, right? We can use the machinery that exists to go ahead and override all sorts of fucking injustice. We simply don't. You have a ton of people who own the machinery screaming we need more injustice. It's a fucking shame.
Yeah, you can't profit without a disaster.
That's true. You cannot profit without a disaster.
Or I mean, without an opportunity.
Yeah, not a not an opportunity predicated upon abject death and squalor.
Keyword predicate.
Predicated. Well, we'll get. I think we're going to touch more on that concept next time because that'll buy us another week. And we are
Going
nothing
for the high score.
going for that high score, bro. Whoa! All right, and
Almost had a viewer today.
we had a couple pop-ins I noticed besides you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I don't know why they should be going to bed. They're up past their bedtimes. We're degenerates. We should be up. You shouldn't. You should have a healthy life. But all right. Well,
I gotta do gay, demonic. I don't know what do Christians say these days. I don't know.
no, the gay people are the boogeyman.
Black trans shit. I guess I don't know.
The country isn't falling apart because we're enacting a type of neo-feudalism as competition solidifies itself into more and more wins and fewer hands, and everybody else is suffering and being pitted against each other. No, it's the gays, blah, right? That's what they do.
Yeah, I know you're trying to sign out here, but real quick, can I just laugh at how people with brainworms hear neo feudal and they try to create some kind of coherent understanding of what it is, and it just makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah,
We appreciate that for just 1 second.
we can, because you know why? It's just feudalism.
They say neo feudal and then they turn around and describe capital as it exists today through their brain rotted Jewish cabal of elites, and then go on and then turn around and kiss Elon's ass. Fucking
They suck his balls.
amazing! It's amazing.
Oh my, they are fantastic, but
A joy to witness.
just a fantastic group of people. Just fantastic fucking ass suckers who are like, no, but Elon's not a neo feudalist.
No, no, no. He's a visionary.
He's a visionary. He envisions. You know what's funny? He came out and admitted like I got them to pass the Hyperloop thing strictly to make sure there would be no public transit in California because I personally hate public transit. And if that like
Mhm.
right there,
Mhm.
game's over. That's the feudalism right there. I can affect the life of millions on my pure whimsy.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
it.
On a hunch. On a hunch.
Not even a hunch. It's just whimsical.
Don't even
I
don't
don't
even
like
have to
it.
be. Don't even. Yeah, just a passing fancy.
Which
You know what? I don't like buses. Let's
yeah.
inconvenience millions of people.
You know what though? This for real. Um, I know I wanted to sign out too, right? But let me throw this out there for something to mull over. If everybody's working from home and yielding all of their personal capital and equity to capitalists, like what's the argument then from the same people to like have public transit because we really don't need it, or at least at the scale we originally claimed we do on the left, right? Because if everybody's working from home and everybody's just offering their capital up to their fucking bosses, then why aren't we saving more money on public transit? Like why not?
You're talking about things that make sense.
Yeah, like
First,
that's
first off, they're not going to be working from home. They've made it. The capitalists have made it clear that that's not what they want. So eventually, that shit will be going
have
by the
they.
wayside.
I don't know.
But eventually, but even if it were about that, then they can just say there's pores on the bus, and then we get more cars.
Yeah, oh, I don't know. Like I'm really suspect that capitalist carte blanche want people returning to the office.
No,
I think that
they don't want people returning to the office. They don't. They want to justify the money they sunk into the real estate market, which is crashing horribly right now.
I I don't think. See, here's the thing, though. I don't think that they do. That doesn't make any sense. I think they want them to return to the restaurant. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, they do want to. Yeah, restaurants. Yeah, restaurants and
Yeah.
and schools and
School. Well, no, they don't want them to return to schools. The skew a lot. I noticed
I mean,
this.
who else is going to be daycare for their kid for the poor people's kids?
Right. Who's going to be daycare for the kids? Well, no, they fuck it. They'll just have to live in that contradiction. That's part of. No, no, no. See that one? Okay, break it down for a second, right? Really break this down and work this through, right? White collar
Okay,
workers are deathly afraid of having to go back into the office, so that every time they hear of somebody having to go back into work, they get pissed off on their behalf, right? But
okay.
these are the same people who overwhelmingly offload like cooking responsibilities onto DoorDash or whatever because they can, right? All of those
Hmm.
jobs do require people to be in the office. They require a physical component. People don't think it like people don't like white collar workers don't work out what delivery is. Delivery means somebody went to a physical place where physical people were working and made something for you to consume, right? That's what delivery is.
Hmm.
So those people, every time they hear like, oh, employers want people to come back in, they hear they want me to come back into the office and freak the fuck out. But by eliminating the office, all those people who do jobs that can be remote worked, that means that means there's a flood of capital on the real estate market as people are ideally selling this shit off, right? Or not renewing leases for big expensive office parks, and they're making money hand over fist on that because they're not bleeding money.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're going to make their money either way.
Well, they have to make their money either way, but specifically, they're, if a company were to invest in their own offices, I can see why they would want to return to the office, right? If they bought the shit themselves and they aren't renting. But a lot of these operations rent. If they can close that office and downsize, right?
Hmm.
There is a real estate market problem there for the renter class, and the renters want you to go back to work because the
Hmm.
renters need to justify extracting that undue labor from you
But
and
also,
from
but
your
also
boss.
at the same time that you're asking them to do a lot of stuff.
As the person renting it, sure, you're asking them to do a lot of stuff. The building has to meet certain specifications, blah blah blah, right? There are costs. There are real costs with renting for the landlord. Sure, I agree. Stuff costs things, but think about if you're running an office and now you can downsize that office because you really only need HR operations for whenever there's discipline to hand out. You know, there's a lot of things you don't have to do. There's no more Christmas fund to pay into because you're at home. We'll have a little Christmas party over Zoom. You buy whatever fucking shit you buy. That's not my problem anymore. I don't have to give you anything for
I
Christmas.
mean, I think this part of it is that they're so that their conception is the panopticon. It's the warehouse.
Yeah,
So for them to try to like intellectually piece together something different is a big ass. Because again, it's the copycat effect. They don't, you know what I mean? One
I
person innovates, everybody else copycats.
yeah, but no, but I mean, like really, like work through the relationship. Why in the hell, if I'm renting an office, why in the hell would I want to renew that rent? That's going to cause
You don't want to,
you don't want to renew that rent. If you can get out of it, you
but you
don't.
want the surveillance.
You do want the surveillance, but the internet provides you with I look. I work in an office that is a hybrid where we have work from home staff and we have non-work from home staff. I can tell you right now, the surveillance is fucking excellent, and we're paying for
Mm.
shit surveillance because the only punishment mechanism you need is I don't know where you are. I don't actually need to know what you were doing. I need to know you weren't doing what you're being paid to do. That's all I need to know, right? If I'm the boss, that's all I need to know. And the better your surveillance, the better you can tell if they're doing what you need to do or not to a
But
crime.
but how much of it is need and how much of it is just them being controlling evil assholes.
But again, I have all the power of being a controlling evil asshole. Well, I'm not even doing the extensive things I said I would be doing. This is work
Yeah,
from home
yeah,
is
and
all
I
upside
mean
down bullshit.
it'll work for them great in the long run, but in the short run, what I mean, they have to mitigate risk.
But they are mitigating risk because they don't have to pay for insurance on a fucking building anymore. They're not at work after all. This work from
I
home
mean,
is all upside for these
I feel like
offices.
you're like it's just a short term versus long term thinking thing, and it's purely short term that they try to get everybody back in the office because like they see COVID as a I don't know. I don't know how they see it. It's just
COVID put them in a spot where they did it under terms they didn't necessarily enjoy. But
right.
I can tell you right now, as a routine like office drone, the office drone class does not like. Our masters love work from home. So this perpetual fear that you're going to be drugged back into the office is this kind of fucking professional middle class or professional managerial class paranoia that you'll be asked to do something you don't want to do, and it'll show how much of a drone you are. That's all this is. I can tell you right now, the restaurants certainly want you back in because you can't flip burgers through a Zoom call yet. As soon as you can do that, restaurants don't want nobody in that fucking building but the customer, and they barely want the customer there. They can just deliver the shit then. They're the best
Hmm.
kind of restaurant ever, and they can still demand a tip that they never have to pay the fucking person who made it. So,
Yeah, double tip. You know, give you your delivery fee,
yeah, so
your delivery fee. Like, yeah.
I understand there are employers who are demanding a return to the office, but that's primarily because like they think their employees are fucking around by comparison. Um, so that's just capitalist paranoia. That's not a class trend. That's individual ad hoc fucking insanity. Because again,
Yeah.
you can offload the insurance costs onto the person who owns the house. You get access to their capital resources for doing nothing. You get not only do you okay, not only did you get to steal from them, right? With the money they then had to use out of their wages or salary, which for me are just wages with a fucking extra steps, right?
Hmm.
But with
Yeah.
their wages or salary. So you stole from them originally, and then on top of that theft, the shit that they bought with that, and mind you, in the old arrangement, they got to steal a lot more from you because you had to show up in clothes that they demanded, right? So they made
Hmm.
you out of your wages go buy clothes that they would accept at their workplace. They got to steal from you on what you got to wear to work, especially if you're in a fucking uniform, right?
What
But
you get to wear, what you get to eat,
what
what.
what you get to eat while you're at work, they get to control. They have all these mechanisms of control. So before they got these little pittances of your whatever meager fucking wage you had from after they stole your surplus labor. But now they can bypass and short circuit that because you still have to show up dressed in some kind of clothing that's work acceptable if you're on a Zoom call, right? So you still have to buy those clothes. You still have to eat every day. You still have leisure costs that are associated with your own existence, so you don't go fucking cuckoo banana birds. And I'm not fucking saying those are bad at all. Quite the opposite. Fun is good, actually. Um, to be
Hot take there.
hot take from Dan Cohen. Fun is good. Um, but what they get to now steal from you is your fucking house. Your insurance premiums are now things that are your problem solely. But if there's like a fire, if there was a fire at your job, right? Their insurance premium, if you got hurt, it had to pay for it. Now, while you're at work, if there's a fire at your house and you get hurt, fuck you, man. Hope you got fire insurance. Hope you got homeowners. Blah, blah, blah. It ain't my problem no more. So they can
Hmm.
offload the cost of that kind of shit onto you. They can bypass OSHA. They can bypass, if you're like, oh, I'm getting all these fucking back problems from sitting in this chair and working all day. They're like, motherfucker, buy yourself a decent chair, right?
Yeah,
That's a you problem.
you can't have the positivity closet
Yeah, they don't
at
need to.
home.
They don't need to operate a positivity closet. They don't need to make fucking 5-star lunches to make them attractive for your 16-hour shift. They just make you work a 16-hour shift and fuck you, buddy. Hope you can cook. Hope you know how to cook a fucking stellar meal on your fucking break time. Which now, right? Because your house, they can be extremely precise in your break. Before you could fudge it. You could fudge it 1 or 2 minutes. You're at home, they got you clocked by the fucking second, my friend. You can't do shit. I don't for a second believe in the short or the long term that
Yeah,
they
you can't milk them bathroom breaks.
you can't milk the bathroom breaks because they can fucking clock you on it. down to the second. Before they had trouble doing that. You know, Amazon had to invest how much in a system to do that? If only they could let their fucking warehouse workers work from home. If only they could. Because it'd be so much more efficient in tormenting them.
They
Now,
do love their torment.
they do
Okay,
love
you
their
sold me.
torment. Yeah, this is all PMC bullshit we're hearing when they're like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
getting
because you're absolutely right. Once you start talking about offloading like expenses, you're
oh
absolutely correct.
so many
That's
expenses.
all they ever want to do with anything ever.
Yeah, that's why when they're like they're gonna make us go back to the office, motherfucker, you are not the middle of the goddamn universe. And this is like you see this from PMC morons all the time
Well,
who
it's
don't
not.
realize.
It's the supposed middle class, finger quote, middle class. You
The
know,
PMC, yeah.
it's the ones that like, oh, you mean I'm not important enough to be able to choose which route I go?
Yeah.
Like us, we are working, so we don't, you know what I mean? We don't have a choice. We have to go in if they say go in.
For the record, I actually could work from home. I'm eligible for work from home. I refused it. And I just told you why I refused it because you have like I honestly have like I'm going to start here. My transportation costs are extremely low, right? I'm not worried about
Yeah,
transportation charges.
mine are higher, so it's definitely painful every time I gotta go in.
Yeah, and if you could, I bet you would work from home. And like I don't fault people who are making the decision to work from home in this sense, but what I will say is the paranoia about working from home and it ending. You're fucking insane. You don't understand capitalism, right? You did not game this out at all. Like, and here's the best part. Here's the best part. If they were renting that office and they got to offload most or a lot of their workers at home so they can just downsize their office space or eliminate their traditional office spaces, motherfucker, they don't pay you rent. They don't pay you goddamn rent. They aren't subletting your fucking apartment, right? So
They don't give you a wage to be able to pay that rent.
yeah, they're not paying your mortgage. They're not paying you, which you probably don't have a mortgage. Like, let's face it, home ownership is rare. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you know, yeah, Blackstone, yeah.
right, but realistically, they ain't paying your goddamn mortgage if you got one. They ain't paying your goddamn rent. You're paying it out of your way, so they get to steal your labor, and then turn around and make you pay rent to get stolen from. This is pure win from a capitalist standpoint. The only people, the people who are upset are the PMC, the middle managers, because what it shows is you don't need as many middle managers if they're all on work from home, because you can monitor them, all of the time, all day, so you can eliminate redundancies in middle management, which terrifies the PMC, right?
Hmm.
So they want people to go
Poor
back to the
diversity
office.
manager.
Yeah, the poor diversity manager, we just don't need it anymore. How was I supposed to know what they look like? I got their job offer from Indeed. I offered them the job through their email. They accepted and showed up to work, and they reported to a middle manager. How could I ever know all of them I hired were white? That's just a minor oversight. That's not a matter of open discrimination. No. These are just minor oversights I did. I seem to keep doing callously and without any regard for fixing it, right? But I keep making just little oversights that are tantamount to just horrific systemic racism within my firm. But I can do that now far more easily. So again, the boss loves work from home, the worker loves work from home, the PMC middle manager boss hates work from home, and so does the renter, because their rent values are going to drop and they need to offload that real estate. So there's going to be there is a weird real estate crisis where houses individually are going up dramatically because those are now workspaces. And I imagine actual commercial real estate is going to take a massive fucking hit downwards.
Yeah, a lot of scrambling to rezone and rebuild.
Yeah. That's going to be like a big thing, and that's going to fuck over poor people.
Gerrymander and redline, all that stuff. Yeah.
All that fucking lost labor in doing that, and then now we reshape, re-engage the paradigm. Or whatever dumb.
I mean, it's not like we manufacture anything here anymore, anyway.
Well, very little. I mean, we just don't have that type of job. We do obviously, but like, not like the 50s. Not like the
Hmm.
60s. The percentage of those being available on the market are very, very low now. So where the employers can, they want to offload even more cost because again, it's going to let them profit. That's why, like, and again, conservatives feel it, right? Conservatives, national capitalists feel it because their restaurants aren't getting stabbed because that fucking kid I could exploit for money before, their ass can go online and go get a fucking better job, right? Then just go online and go find a better job and go do that job instead. And then they get to work from home, so they're pleased as a peach. The global capital is satisfied because global capital doesn't care. There will always be an underclass they can force into warehouses and fucking war zones. So
They do
yeah,
love their warehouses and war zones.
yeah, it's a very fractionalized thing is what I'm really trying to get at. And like, there's a lot of people who are like heralding they're trying to get rid of work from home in jobs that really like. It's funny because these are all media commenters and media commenters like, if we can offload your work site back to the house, they're doing great. That lowers their costs. Why in the fuck would they want to drag your expensive ass back in and have to pay for it? What's so goddamn special? Like, there's the problem, right? What's so goddamn special about you that they want to pay all that money to drag your ass back in? Fucking dumbass. No, your boss loves this. Your manager hates it, but your boss fucking loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I've been trying to beat. I've been trying to beat that drum for a while, and I always get shot down with no. They don't want to pull. They want to pull him back in because this is well. If you start
Well,
busting down too.
you do understand the mind of the capitalist more than I do.
Well, I know that that's just
You take an interest in it. I just look at it as just raw evil and just move on.
well, yeah, but you got to see how the beast thinks. You got to see how the dog thinks.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you can't
yeah,
trade the
yeah,
dog.
yeah. You just get a vague outline.
Yeah, again, like I can't stress it enough. All I'm doing is just material analysis, buddy. I'm not doing anything. Just working backwards from like who actually would benefit from the situation. Well, workers and capitalists. Like that's a dangerous mix for us. I hate work from home. You should be in your boss's face telling him that you want to fucking, you want higher
Mm.
pay. You should not be trying to do
That is a
reduce.
good point. Yeah, unionizing and labor struggle would be much harder from home.
It is much harder from home because you lose the social network.
Yeah, yeah, because you can't exactly. I mean, I guess you could Discord your coworkers, but you can't exactly like just be on the floor and be like, "Hey,
Okay,
do a union."
85-year-old Janice, right? 85-year-old Janice who sucks with computers. You're gonna have a fun time trying to get her to Discord for the union. In the old days, you could
Right.
just talk to Janice and persuade her. So yeah, again, the boss loves the owner loves work from home. The middle manager hates it. The middle manager loves the risk of a union coming into the shop because it gives them purpose. They
Yeah,
hate unions.
they do love their attempted legitimacy.
Yeah. Well, again, if we were reading our theory, we would remember that middle managers are only a cost. They don't add any value,
Yeah, yeah.
So they need the threat of a union to justify their own existence. See, I quash unions. I am a useful expense. You should pay for me. And the boss goes, shit, you're right. You do quash unions good. Instead of, but with work from home, those
Well, I mean, the
industries,
ones that squash unions should still be around, right?
they won't need to if you're all on work from home. It's much harder to organize. You can't think collectively when you're that hyper individualized.
I thought it'd be the ones that are just there to I don't know
Witchins.
give them jobs, just giving jobs to give jobs.
That's all middle management jobs ultimately. There's a lot of
Yeah, you
things.
make a good point.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do that are considered middle management essential functions that can be reduced to like a spreadsheet and a vote. There are a lot, you know. That's part of the game. Like, and you can be like, that's kind of a that's kind of a lofty statement, but like if you believe in workplace democracy, you kind of have to be willing to back up that assertion, right? And you have to
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, who believes in workplace democracy?
I do. How, if everybody owns the capital, how are you supposed to make decisions? You know, if you actually have a workers' cooperative, a workers' state, even, how are you supposed to make the decisions without voting?
No, are you saying you believe in? I don't understand what you mean by believe in workplace democracy. That's probably the problem.
Okay. Um,
I just thought workplaces were the most undemocratic or situation you could possibly have.
they are under capitalism, but what do you do? Like, okay, let's say we're
Okay, you're
socialists.
talking about under
Yeah,
socialism. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, I get you now.
yeah, that's one
I
of our
get you.
lines of attack.
Getting a little tired, so I'm getting
I got you,
a
brother. You know what? Let's end
little
it.
lost.
We'll talk about that next time as well.
All right.
Yeah. All right, my brother, and all right, America. Good night. Uh,
Night, America.
we love you. Don't die. And three, two, one.